welcome back to Sky Girl Reporter, and today we are here with the Lifeguard Chief of San Diego. So let's say hi. Hi.
How are you, Sky?
Good.
I'm very happy to be here with you today.
Thank you. So my first question is, what does a Lifeguard Chief do?
Well, the Lifeguard Chief manages all of the lifeguards in the city of San Diego. So I'm in charge of everything: recruiting, hiring, making sure that we have all the proper equipment here, making sure all the lifeguards are trained to an appropriate level, and then making sure all of those assets and folks are deployed out within the city in an efficient manner so that we can protect the citizens, make sure the beaches and the bays stay safe.
How did you become the Lifeguard Chief?
Well, I started out as a lifeguard on the Jersey Shore when I was age 16. And I worked as a beach lifeguard in Belmar, New Jersey for about 3 years. And then I came out here for college. And while I was out here for college, I applied to be a seasonal lifeguard with the city of San Diego. And I got the job, and I worked the city beaches here for quite some time, for about 9 years. And then I applied for a full-time job, and I became a lifeguard 2 and worked my way up to becoming a lifeguard sergeant. I was a lifeguard sergeant for quite some time, about 7 years. And then I applied to be a marine safety lieutenant. And from there, I went to marine safety captain. And then from there, I competed in an interview for lifeguard chief.
Wait, were those all the ranks?
Those were all the ranks. Yep, I went through all the ranks.
What do you want to accomplish as Lifeguard Chief?
Well, ultimately, we want to make sure that everybody who comes to the beach and the bay here in San Diego goes home safely. But there is a lot more to that, right? I want to make this the best lifeguard service in the world and the most professional. And the way you do that is standards and setting goals and the expectations of excellence.
How many lifeguards work in San Diego?
Here in the city of San Diego, we have 119 permanent employees here for the lifeguard division. And then we have 325 seasonal lifeguards that are employed by the city, and we work with about 225 of them each summer.
What are the qualities of a good lifeguard?
Well, a good lifeguard has to be a good person, right? They have to want to serve the public, and they have to believe in an organization that's bigger than themselves. So that's the one major good quality. They have to be a good citizen, and they have to be a good person. Then they have to be able to swim really well. They have to be a good athlete. They have to be able to train their bodies to be able to perform the rigorous job that it takes to be a lifeguard.
What are the dangers for swimmers?
Probably the biggest danger is rip currents. And people get stuck in rip currents, and then the waves and the currents out in the ocean start pushing them around. They get tired and they start to drown. So that's what lifeguards do. We spot that. So we observe people out at the beaches, and we spot when they're going to get in a bad area or about to become a rescue, and we do our best to prevent that. And then if we can't prevent that, then we go out and we make the rescue, and we get people back to the beach and make sure that they get to go home safely.
How many rescues do you do a year?
Well, it depends on the year and the water activity and how many people come here to San Diego, but it's somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 water rescues a year. A little over 10,000 was our biggest year that we made the most amount of rescues. And that's just the water rescues there. That's swimmers getting in trouble. We also do cliff rescues. And we do about approximately 100 cliff rescues a year between Torrey Pines and Sunset Cliffs. And that's where somebody goes down on a trail and they get in trouble, or they fall, or they get to a false trail. And the lifeguards will come out with our ropes, and we rappel down and help them get safely to the beach or safely to the top and back to enjoying their day. We also do river rescues here. So any inland waterway, the Tijuana River or Mission Valley River, Sorrento Valley River, we do river rescues there. And that varies depending on how much rain we get. And then we also do boating rescues. So we have a whole boating enforcement unit here in the city of San Diego, and we will rescue people's boats who maybe their motor conks out, or they take on water, or they have a fire on their boat. We're prepared to help people out with all those types of situations.
What animals should swimmers be worried about?
The most animal and human interactions that we get here in San Diego that have a negative outcome for swimmers is usually the stingray. So the stingray, there are stingrays all over the beaches in San Diego and up and down the coast of California, and they have a little poisonous barb on their back. And if you step on them or scare them, they'll wind up stinging you. So we get a lot of stingray and human interactions, and that's what people should mostly stay away from. And there's an easy way to stay away from that, and that's by doing the stingray shuffle. And it's keeping your feet on the bottom, making a little bit of noise with your feet, and shuffling your feet as you go out into the shallows, because that is the area that the stingrays like to stay in.
That's good advice. What are the challenges of being lifeguard chief?
Well, being the lifeguard chief is an honor and a privilege, but it is certainly a position that comes with quite a bit of challenges. And some of those challenges are identifying your budget and figuring out how much of your budget you're going to spend on training people, buying equipment, and then actually deploying people out to the beaches to make sure that they're safe. That is one of the challenges. Getting people to come out to be a lifeguard and take interest in the lifeguarding program, so that's called recruiting. That's also another challenge. So there are many challenges to the position of lifeguard chief, but I enjoy almost every facet of this job. So though there are challenges, it's really easy to do because it's very rewarding work. This team here in the fire rescue department, in the lifeguard division, we help people. That's our sole purpose, is to go out there and help people that are having a bad day, or they're in trouble, or they may be having the worst day of their life. And I get to lead and represent all the heroes and men and women of this team that are out there helping people and helping people through that time and making sure that everybody gets to go home safely.
Is there anything else people should know about being lifeguard chief?
It's a challenging job. It's a tough job. You have to make a lot of hard decisions, and you have to set high expectations for your team, but it is a great job, a rewarding job, and I love every minute of it.
So I'd like to say thank you.
Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. After that, Chief Gartland showed us some really cool equipment.
Right. This is our cliff rescue rig. It's called Rescue 44. It is a Pierce engine built specifically for cliff rescue. And it's the only one of its kind that we know of. And what we did was we took a industrial application of a crane and rescue rated it, and we use this to make cliff rescues a lot faster than doing it by hand and setting anchors. So this thing opens up and you have a high vantage point to make a rescue. And it has a cable here. The cable drops down, the rescuers go down, they package up the victim, and then they bring them up with the help of this big giant engine.
How high does it go?
It goes over 50 feet high, and you can see it. It's a pretty unique piece of equipment, and we're really happy to have it. We researched and developed it, and it replaced an old crane that we had, but the same type of vehicle, but this is the first time we put it in a fire engine application, and it was made by Pierce Motors.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking the time and the interest in the lifeguards. And thanks for coming out. Very nice to meet you.
So I had an amazing time with Lifeguard Chief Gartland, and I would like to thank him for his amazing time, and I hope you enjoyed the interview and you learned a lot. So I hope to see you on Sky Go Reporter with a new person telling us what the job is and you learning. Bye!